Code monkey, get up, get coffee. Code monkey, go to job. Code monkey, have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say code monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do code monkey think? Code monkey think maybe manager wanna write login page himself. Code monkey not say it out loud. Code monkey not crazy, just proud. Code monkey like Fritos. Code monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code monkey very simple man. Big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
What's new, Dino Dudes? It's me, the Media Raptor, and welcome to the first episode of the Media Raptor Reviews in the year 2021. Boy, this year sucks already. Okay, you know what, fine. I ain't here to talk politics. I ain't here to talk about what's wrong with the world. I'm here to talk about a video game. Probably my most anticipated game of 2020. The third installment in probably my all-time favorite video game franchise, Watch Dogs: Legion. So this game has been out for quite a bit now. It came out in October, so it's been like about 3 months almost since the game released. And you might be wondering, okay, what took you so long to actually get the review out? Well, had to play it, record footage, wanted some time to think, and then I just got really disinterested in talking about it. I'm gonna be brutally honest with everyone here. I'm not gonna lie and try and dance around the fact that I think my camera's tilted somewhat. Yeah, my camera's a little bit off. Sorry about that. The truth is, I'm pretty disappointed with this game. Watch Dogs: Legion is a fun game. It certainly is good. And yes, I do understand that it was not going to live up to the standards I had set for it. I had put my expectations so high, so excited, so much hype, that there was no possible way it would be able to actually reach them. Excuse me, I'm going to just tilt my camera slightly. It is not fair to blame a game for my expectations. It is not fair to say a game failed to live up to the unreachable heights that I put it on and excitement for, therefore it's a bad game. It's not a fair thing to do. I can't do that. That's just wrong. What I can complain about is a game that at certain times was borderline unplayable through all the glitches, bugs, and technical issues, the fact that it clearly was not ready and it was forced out anyways, and the fact that for a game that's a third in a series about, hacking and all that, it does not feel like a Watch Dogs game. And that's my big issue. This does not feel like a Watch Dogs game at all. So the reason it's called Legion, for the few of you that don't know, is you can recruit anyone. And I do literally mean anybody you see, you can recruit. You can stalk them, you can ruin their lives, you can kill them, you can kill people they care for and get them angry at you, and then go out of your way to befriend them and have them join you, and then later kill them in revenge because you're a petty asshole. You can do anything, and that's a lot of fun. The fact that they put in the time and the effort to make every single character feel alive is truly commendable. And Watch Dogs: Legion does succeed in what it wanted to do. It wanted to create this sort of big open world where you get a chance to recruit anyone, to have anyone join DedSec. This is both a great thing and the biggest problem. See, the big problem that I know a lot of people have pointed out is there is no main character. There's no, one character who's the anchor in it all that you can actually play as. Sure, there's some DedSec characters and there's Bagley, but frankly, I don't remember any character's name in this aside from Bagley because he was the only one that was actually kind of entertaining. Everyone else, just boom, I don't remember a thing about them. If there was a character who was even if you didn't get to play as them, was your sidekick, or was there with you, or was the one who brought you into DedSec, much more than the way they set it up in the beginning, hey, that would be great because it would sort of be an anchor for us to see the world through. Or if there was one character that we kind of had to play as in certain missions to make it clear they were like our proxy, that would have been great. But because Ubisoft for some reason doesn't like making a game when there's actual goals and it's just, hey, you play it your way and do what you want, this leads to issues as, well, without a main character to follow, it gets really hard for you to grow attached to anyone on your team. And then when you turn on permadeath, which I do recommend you do and don't recommend you do, when someone dies, it can be really kind of like, oh no, that character I recruited, I really liked them. They had these skills that were useful, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the story is really interesting. In fact, I think the story is one of the stronger points in this game. But there's so little in terms of like a main character to follow. There's so little in terms of characterization, and even so little in terms of a story itself, that, well, while playing, I found myself getting more invested in the story in Dragon Ball FighterZ and LEGO DC Supervillains more than I did of the plot of Watch Dogs Legion. If I'm seeming really annoyed by this, it's because these two games had amazing stories, had great characters. This one not as much, but still, they were memorable, they were entertaining. So when Watch Dogs Legion comes along, it just doesn't really fulfill or uphold what it was trying to do. That leaves me feeling very disappointed and very empty, because I want to love this game. I want to be sitting here telling you all it's the best game, you need to go out and play it, but I can't. Not just because the story is kind of lacking, but because the game is really dull at times. See, London is huge. It's one of the bigger maps I've ever seen in a Ubisoft game. And the thing is, though, what I loved about Watch Dogs 2 was the customization. The fact that you could kind of change your characters around to make them wear anything you wanted. You could make Marcus wear a Viking hat and, like, leather pants or something. It could look ridiculous. Here, not only is the clothing extremely dull, like some of the most basic and boring designs I've seen, it's literally just 99% the Union Jack and nothing else. It's really hard to find places to get changed, because unlike with Watch Dogs 2 or Watch Dogs 1, when it was very clear the stores were here and you could fast travel to them, the stores are barely mentioned on the map until you're right next to them. And the fast travel is really ineffective, because 99% of the time it'll get you into like near the borough where the mission or whatever is, and you have to go the rest of the way on foot or by car. And the cars feel really dull. The cars feel just boring and sluggish. They don't feel fun, and there's no real like cars on demand thing like with Watch Dogs 1 or 2. In fact, only certain characters actually have cars, which then means you'll favor that recruit because they have a way of getting around, and then when that recruit dies because of a technical glitch in the game where all of a sudden you can't move or something blows up in your face or something else really stupid that happened more than once, it just feels like a huge waste of time. It feels like it's in like a 4th or 5th beta, but it's not complete. It feels like there's a lot of stuff they wanted to add and they wanted to go back later and add in, or they needed more time to finish. Because, yeah, you can do stuff like go sightseeing or play darts or even just kind of mess around with people or do like side missions. They don't feel complete or fleshed out. And what sucks is there's some side missions that are actually kind of horrific. There's one, I'm not going to spoil it because it was actually a really unsettling scene. I don't want to spoil what happens, but it made me cry because of somebody I lost about a year ago, and it just... Holy crap, that storytelling and that subplot and that little like side quest, that was top notch. That is what I wanted this whole game to be. But even in the end, when you get to the final missions, like I've said, I lost a lot of the characters I was playing with for so long because of stupid reasons of like the game glitching or the AI just being suddenly stupidly overpowered or whatnot. And so I was playing with characters I had no connection to and didn't care in the slightest for, so then at the very end it was just like, okay, that's over. So yeah, the AI is an issue. There's very little in terms of transportation, even less in terms of clothing. You can't select weapons, which I find extremely annoying. You know, I was a little annoyed at first in Watch Dogs 2 how you could only have 2 weapons, but I understood that because Marcus is just supposed to be this guy. He's not like a vigilante like Aiden Pierce. But if you're not like an assassin or like a gang member, you can't even have a lethal weapon, which then makes me kind of force you to play stealth. Which can make certain parts of this game an absolute nightmare. Especially one of the final bosses is so annoying. If you have to do it with stun weapons like I did because I wasn't told in advance, hey, you may want to like use a certain type of character or something. Because no, you gotta play it your way and it'll all work out, except it didn't. I essentially was stuck in a cycle for a good 20 minutes. I gave up and left, went off and played fighters for a bit, had a lot more fun. Then came back, essentially cheated, beat the boss, didn't care in the slightest, and kept going. Yeah. And even like this game isn't that good looking, really. Now, I'm playing on the PS4. Watch Dogs 2 had amazing graphics, amazing cutscenes, amazing facial animations. The characters felt alive, they were expressive, they were moving, they talk like I do when I'm doing a review, how I kind of will like, my body just kind of reacts, it just talks, it just moves. It feels animated, it feels alive. In this game, 99% of these cutscenes are just stand there and talk, camera cut, stand there and talk, stand there and talk, go. Even like the actual cutscenes within the game feel extremely dull and drab when compared to both Watch Dogs 1 and 2. Now sure, some of the set pieces look very nice. Some of the cityscapes and at night the game can look truly gorgeous. But that's just very few and far between the actual points when you're playing the game. And this game... Also, by the way, the acting is horrible. I think I've heard a lot of this is actually like a synthesized thing when like 99% of these characters are like done with like an robotic, like a sort of like a speech generator thing. I'm Scottish, and I know British people, but I don't think we say f*** this much. Like every f*** is either saying f*** or shit, man, or like, yeah, I don't know, calling someone a I know people fucking swear a lot if they're fucking British or shit like that. But even against the we don't like, we don't fucking swear that fucking much. For fuck's sake. I don't know if it's trying to be funny or what, but it's not. It's annoying, and I hate the character voices. 99% of them, I absolutely hated them and just played the game on mute. Oh, speaking of which, there's no music player for some reason. Yeah, a huge fun part of the past 2 Watch Dogs games, gone. The great soundtrack that I literally bought on a record because I loved it so much so that I had to go and buy a record player just to listen to it. Nah. The soundtrack has some good parts, but it's nowhere near as memorable as Watch Dogs 2. And really, that's the best way to summarize Watch Dogs Legion. It has some good parts, but it's nowhere near as good as Watch Dogs 2. So, the big question is, do I feel like I got ripped off? Because I didn't just buy the game. I bought the collector's edition. I bought this hoodie. I bought that skull thing that currently has my baby Yoda sitting in it that my aunt stitched for me. Thank you for that, by the way. I bought a backpack. I bought so much stuff in excitement for this game. Do I feel like I got ripped off? No. Really, if you know what the game is and you know what you're getting, you can still have a lot of fun. There's something super fun about riding around on drones. Firing nail guns off at people. Like I said, literally tracking someone throughout the day and then gaslighting them, driving them insane, or just hurting someone they care for to see how they'll react. Like, the game truly does feel alive. It truly feels like it was a passion project. But it also feels like it's both not a Watch Dogs game with how little actual hacking there is compared to the previous 2 games. And on top of all that, it feels like it wasn't fully finished yet, and yet they forced it out anyways because they wanted money. You know what other game did that? and actually has a similar reaction from players. Cyberpunk. Actually, if you were to point a gun at me and say, which did you enjoy more, Cyberpunk or Legion? I haven't finished Cyberpunk, but I think I'm having more fun playing through it than I am through this. Glitches, problems, and everything all with it. The story and the characters at least are coherent and gripping. And I want to keep coming back, except the glitches keep pushing me away, and they probably will for another year until they fix the game, because, you know, CD Projekt Red was extremely stupid and overpromising with its game, but hey, you know what? It at least has a fun story so far. Legion, I really wanted to like. I wanted to love this game, but it just wasn't that great. What I am hopeful for, though, is the multiplayer, which wasn't actually in the game. But kind of makes sense, even though it does say on the back, by the way, 2 to 8 online players, and there's no online yet. But, yeah, you know, they had to patch that in later. But I'm more excited for the DLC story, Watch Dogs Bloodlines, I think? It's going to have Aiden freaking Pierce and Wrench together. That's gotta be good. And you know what? I will say this. As much as I love Watch Dogs, Watch Dogs Bad Blood is probably the best story this series has ever told. And ironically, while I loved the story of Watch Dogs 2, the DLC was kind of disappointing. So maybe we're going to have a 1-3-1 effect. What I mean by that is this. The story was okay, but the DLC is going to make up for it. Who knows? We know very little about it. But in the end, I can recommend Watch Dogs Legion. If you're a fan of Watch Dogs, you're going to want to play it. If you're not, it is worth a shot because there is a lot of fun to be had in it. It's just the story, the AI, I'm not sure if they fixed it because really I kind of stopped playing it once I beat it. It's a good game, but even something like this, even something like Mortal Kombat 11, for how irritating and broken the online is to a point when if you don't have Ethernet cables, you're kind of screwed. I keep coming back to it and I keep playing it because it's at least fun. Legion, I want to go back and keep playing it, but I'll play it for like half an hour and then I think, you know, I could play Cyberpunk. I could play Arkham Knight. I could play Alien vs. Predator. I could play Jurassic World Evolution. Like, Legion had a great concept, had great potential, but it did not stick the landing. I'm giving it 1.5 Raptor Claws out of 4, 2 Raptor Claws out of 4, you know, that kind of level. I really wanted to like it more than I did. And to be honest, if this is the future of the Watch Dogs franchise, is more focus on action and hacking and all that kind of stuff, I think it's time to get off this ship. You know, it's not what I want to play. And that really depresses me, because this is probably my all-time favorite gaming franchise. More than Mortal Kombat, more than Oddworld, more than Mario, more than Pokemon. It's Watch Dogs. And I'm just kind of disappointed that this is how the third one came out. Anyhow, since you're here, there's something I need to tell you all. This is it. I'm done this type of review. You know, talking about modern stuff it doesn't get a lot of views. It doesn't really make me happy. It just feels like I'm chasing a trend. So, starting next review, I'm going back to what I love. I'm talking Sci-Fi Channel movies. From this point forward, I'm pretty much going to focus mainly on stuff like DC animated movies, occasionally a Thomas film, but mostly Sci-Fi Channel movies. Sure, there will be some modern stuff thrown in everywhere, every now and then, for stuff like Kong v Godzilla and Mortal Kombat. But if you're here to listen to me talk about the newest film, sorry, I'm not doing that anymore. But if you're here to listen to me talk about a movie called Sharktopus vs. Terracuda, hit subscribe. You're going to want to stick around. With all that being said, until next time, this has been the Media Raptor, saying keep cool, and I will see all you Dino dudes around. Later.